자, 어제 토요일 날짜 뉴욕타임즈인데 요즘에 이 북한 문제가 심각하게 지금 나오는 것은 워싱턴 발인데 전문을 제가 한번 읽습니다. U.S. keeps eye out for signs of aggression by North Korea. Washington. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un could take some form of lethal military action against South Korea in the coming months after having shifted to a policy of open hostility, U.S. officials say. The officials have concluded that while Mr. Kim's recent harder line is part of a pattern of provocation, his declarations have been increasingly aggressive and should be taken seriously. While the officials added that they did not see an imminent risk of a full-scale war on the Korean peninsula, Mr. Kim could carry out the strike in a way that he thinks would avoid rapid escalation. They pointed to North Korea's shelling of South Korean Island in 2010 as an example. The two sides exchanged artillery fire, resulting in the reported deaths of troops on both sides, as well as civilians in the south, but both militaries soon stopped. Jonathan Feiner, the White House Deputy National Security Advisor, said at an Asia Society Forum in Washington on Thursday that North Korea had chosen to continue going down a very negative path. Mr. Kim's more aggressive posture has been evident through a series of action this month. On Wednesday, the North Korea fired several cruise missiles from its west coast into the sea, the South Korean military said. Mr. Kim's government announced on January 14th that it had tested a new solid-fuel intermediate-range missile tipped with a hypersonic warhead, and on January 5th, his military fired hundreds of artillery shells into waters near South Korean islands, impelling some residents to seek shelter. At the same time, Mr. Kim has decided to formally abandon a long-time official goal of a peaceful reunification with South Korea. The North Korean state news media announced on January 16th Mr. Kim had signaled the move for months and said in a speech the day before that conciliatory reference to unity with the Republic of Korea, as the South is officially known, must be removed from the Constitution. We can specify in our Constitution the issue of completely occupying, subjugating, and reclaiming the ROK and annexing it as part of the territory of our republic in case a war break out on the Korean peninsula, Mr. Kim said. He has repeatedly denounced the three-way security pact announced in August by President Biden, President Yoon Suk-yeol of South Korea, and Prime Minister Fumio Kishida of Japan. The confluence of Mr. Kim's policy shift and the projectile firing has caught the attention of U.S. officials who monitor North Korea, which has a nuclear weapons program and is under harsh United Nations sanction. Mr. Kim's moves also appear to be shutting the door for now on any chance of diplomacy with the United States. And the U.S. officials say the North Korean leader is probably feeling emboldened because of his growing partnership with Russia. The statements and policy changes are part of a broader strategy to destabilize and create anxiety, said Jean H. Lee, a fellow at the East-West Center in Honolulu. She added that she thought Mr. Kim could take military action in an area like the West Sea or Yellow Sea, where there are South Korean islands, including the one that Mr. Kim's father shelled in 2010, and where the North dispute a maritime border. Two North Korean experts argued in an article this month that the situation on the North Korean peninsula is more dangerous than it has been at any time since early June 1950, when Mr. Kim's grandfather decided to invade the South. In the article, which U.S. government analysts and policymakers have read, the authors wrote that based on their interpretation of a recent statement, Mr. Kim has made a strategic decision to go to war. But so far, U.S. agencies have not detected concrete signs that North Korea is gearing up for combat or a major war, according to American officials interviewed for this article, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the intelligence and diplomatic matters. One official said North Korea's decision to send large numbers of older artillery shells and smaller numbers of more modern ballistic missiles to Russia for its war in Ukraine showed that Mr. Kim was not preparing for a prolonged conflict with the South. A leader planning for a major military operation would hold his stock of missiles and artillery shells, the official said. A missile and artillery barrage of South Korea or a land invasion would almost certainly mean war with the United States. The American military defended South Korea during the Korean War, which never officially ended. Nearly 30,000 U.S. troops are based in South Korea. Mr. Kim probably believes he can control any escalation, U.S. officials said. When North Korea shelled the Yeonpyeong Island in 2010, the South Korean military retaliated, but the two sides quickly ended their artillery exchange. Earlier that year, 46 sailors died when a South Korean warship sank off the country's west coast. An investigation by international experts concluded a few months later that the warship had been hit by a torpedo fired by a North Korean submarine. South Korea imposed a sanction on the North, which had denied any role in the episode, but did not carry out any military strike. North Korea can decimate cities in South Korea and kill U.S. troops on the peninsula using conventional weapons. The South and the United States also have the means to quickly destroy Pyongyang, the North's capital and military site across the country. North Korea has enough fissile material for about 50 to 60 nuclear warheads said that Siegfried Hacker, a scientist at Stanford University who co-wrote the recent article on Mr. Kim's going to a war footing. Robert Carlin, the other author and the former U.S. intelligence analyst on North Korea, said in an interview that they had concluded, based on the North's action and the official statement since 2021, that Mr. Kim had abandoned a decades-long policy of trying to normalize relations with the United States. We surprised ourselves by seeing how alarming the situation had turned, Mr. Collins said. Case Broadshaw contributed reporting from Beijing and Cho Sang-hun from Seoul.